There's no way that Roger Federer knew when he helped create the Laver Cup that he was actually creating what would eventually be the perfect event, the perfect format for his eventual retirement in what ended up being unique circumstances, with Federer ultimately and unfortunately not in good enough health to retire playing singles on the regular tour. What in the bigger picture has been really the worst case scenario for the last 3 years. Federer battling his knee, spending most of the last 3 years rehabbing, and not being able to go out on his own terms. That all has sucked. But in isolation, tonight was really, really good. And while there's all the sadness and the emptiness that obviously exists from knowing that we're not going to get to see Roger Federer play competitive tour-level tennis anymore, there's also the satisfaction in knowing that Federer got what was a proper send-off, thanks to an event that he helped create. A send-off that was not lonely, was not scary. And those are his words. That's what he said coming in. He just said, I don't want my retirement to be lonely and scary. And tennis is the loneliest sport that mankind has ever created. But not Laver Cup. Because Federer got to play alongside a great friend and a remarkable rival in Rafael Nadal. Two players who have created just an unbelievable bank of epic memories and have grown the sport together in so many ways, right? He plays with Nadal, with Novak, Andy, his teammates in his ear, at his bench at every changeover, along with the legendary Bjorn Borg. His family, Mirka, his mother, his father, courtside, front row, right behind his shoulder, and 20,000 fans in the O2, a venue, by the way, where he's created some of those incredible memories. Just adoring fans. So, you know, he just it felt like a celebration. And Roger, in the end, you know, didn't want to make it about himself. And I think it was a perfect moment for him to thank everyone. Thank his competitors, because we often say tennis is an individual sport. Not exactly. I mean, it is, but, you know, there's two. You don't play by yourself. It's not billiards. I guess there's two in billiards. All right. It's not figure skating where you literally put on a show yourself. No, you need others. The tour is a group. It's a team, right? He was able to thank the fans, his rivals, his family, all the people who got him there. They were all together in that moment, and it created a perfect night. Perfect. And I don't really care that they lost, Nadal and Federer, losing to Jack Sock and Francis Tiafoe. I don't think it really mattered very much at all. Didn't feel like there was any weight. But I would say a big positive in this match was how Roger Federer played. Seemed like he is going to be okay physically as far as just moving forward as a non-professional athlete. Roger's going to be okay. And I was a little nervous. I was a little scared coming in about what he was going to look like. And he looked like a guy who's going to have no problem living his life, no problem skiing with his kids, and no problem playing some exhibition tennis and enjoying this sport down the road. That's what it looked like to me, which was really positive. In fact, I don't think he was the worst player on the court. We can talk about the tennis a little bit, even though I don't think it mattered very much. Roger made very few mistakes. He served well. Didn't have didn't have any explosive movement. In fact, on the match point that Nadal and Federer ultimately had, I do believe that Federer, in his normal level of movement, would have been able to get up to the ball and hit a forehand winner. Instead, it got low on him, and Roger missed the forehand. But ultimately, he did a lot well. He served well. He returned well. He didn't miss a lot of volleys. He didn't go and get the ball very much at net, but when the ball came to him, he was quite good. Jack Sock was the best player on the court, unsurprisingly. He's an incredible doubles player, especially late. He kind of took over. Tiafoe served and returned well, doesn't really know what he's doing in doubles for the most part positionally, and looked, very inexperienced, and he is inexperienced. But he was still a force to be reckoned with how well he served and returned. It was Rafa Nadal who seemed just overcome and overwhelmed by, I guess, the pressure of trying to send Roger out with a win. And I don't know, I think he felt he probably felt a very different kind of nerves, because Nadal is used to playing for himself, as most of these champions are. But in this case, he was completely playing for Roger. You don't know kind of what state he's in independent from that, right? I don't think he would have actually come to play the Laver Cup had this not been Federer's farewell event. He knew he had to be there, but I don't know that he would have been. And it was Rafa who kind of had a rough time out on the court. Although Federer and Nadal still almost won, because Sock and Tiafoe weren't really stellar either. But ultimately, it was a great show for the fans. It was very tight. And I was just really heartened by Federer's health more than anything. You saw Nadal just overcome after the match as well. And look, iron sharpens iron. And Rafa knows that without Roger, he wouldn't have been the same player. And maybe he wouldn't have been the same man. And Novak Djokovic looked on as well, and Novak looked like he was very much in his emotions as well. That's what this was about. But the fact that they were all together, and Andy Murray as well, and again, everyone I mentioned at the start of the video, the fact that they were all together, that made for a really, really beautiful night for Roger Federer. I couldn't imagine it being much better, and given the difficult circumstances, it was perfect. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.